Welcome to the channel. If you're looking for a video to help you pass the SAT, this is the video you want to watch. I yield 62 questions that shows up. Some of them are challenging, but to test the knowledge to prepare you to ace your SAT. Buckle up and let's master this concept you needed for your SAT. In each question, I want you to pause the video, answer the question on your own, and see the way I'm going to approach it. Some of them may be challenging, but you have the stamina to take care of it. In the given equation, 3x plus k, 5x squared minus 45, 2x squared minus 16x plus 6k. When you read it, your brain telling you, what am I reading? Is equal to 0. That's the key, where k is a positive constant. All the variable and instruction they give you in the question, take care of it. The sum of the solution is equal to what? 20 over 3. That is your key. What is the value of k? How will you approach this question? You see a complex equation long like that, they want to challenge you, want to think, find out if you can handle these values. You know how to do it. Just be careful. Slowly but sure, you can deal with it. Since this is equal to 0, those are all they are solution of the equation. Don't open it anymore. I will take one of them. 3x plus k is equal to 0. That means x is equal to what? Minus k over 3. That's my first solution. I take my second solution. I have 5x squared minus 45. Okay, 5x squared minus 45. Same thing as 5x squared, what? Minus 9. In the process, you will turn into 5x minus 3, x plus 3. This is equal to what? 0. And your solution are x plus or minus 3 and 0. If you sum them, you're going to get what? 0. And then the last one, for this equation, it looks complex. But if you factor 2 out, you have what? X squared minus 8, x plus what? 3k. The sum of solution of this quadratic is what? Minus b over a. Our b is what? Minus 8. Therefore, this is 8. Our a here is 1. Boom, you have it over here. And therefore, this is 8. You need to sum all of them together because they told you the summation will be 20 over 3. Therefore, minus k over 3 plus 0 plus 8 should give me what? 20 over 3. If you solve it, your k is going to give you 4. This is the way you solve this kind of question. Does it look challenging? I know you got it. You'll be able to handle it without any problem. This is the way I want to approach. You should approach every question as much as possible. Think about it, what they want you to do, and then handle it. The given quadratic function has the factors in the form of what? As squared plus bx, cs squared plus d, where a, b, c, d, and k are all integers. What is the smallest possible value of a, b? When you see this question, you usually deal with what? S squared. Now they give you to the power 4. Just replace them so that you can handle them. S squared as what? Y. Therefore, I can rewrite this equation into what? 54 y squared plus 2y 16y plus what? 210. You simplify it, easy to manage. You can see that it's a factor of 6 that can go through this. Therefore, I'll factorize 6 out and I have what? 9y squared, right? 36y plus 35. Now, what do you think you should do? You can see that we can factorize. This is 36, this is 35, and this is 9. There's a factor of 3, 5, and 7 going here, right? I can factor the 3, 9 into 3, and I get a y. I put the bracket here. 35 and 36 and 9, what will come out with is 7. You have 7 here and 5 here. If you simplify it, you're going to get the same thing. And then you put your 6 here. Now, let's replace our y as s squared. So you have this 3s squared plus 5, 3s squared plus 7. This look as the same equation that we have in the form of this. So we've simplified this into this form. Now you can see that our k is 6. Our a is what? So let's write that. Our k is 6 here. Our a is what? 3. Our b, which is here, is 5. Our d is the 7. And our c is also 3. They're asking you a times b. What do you think? You get 15. So this times this will give you 15. So the smallest possible number is 15. It looks complicated, but you can handle it. Use what they've given you and then manipulate it to get your answer. How are you doing so far? 2 questions, challenging. It's designed to test you like that. The next one may be easy, but I'm going to take you up and down to make you feel comfortable when you're taking the SAT. You can handle this, right? This look also intimidating, but you've already been doing this. You know what to do. All you need to do is to open the bracket and match it the same way. In giving the expression, they said the expression above is equivalent to the standard quadratic equation where A, B, C are all constant. What is the value of B? Pause and then answer the question you're on. The way you can find the value of B is to find the sum of the solution. They're usually part of the sum of the solution. And therefore, we got to multiply certain numbers. To find the middle number is always what? The first and the last. Because of the s squared, you need to get rid of s squared. So half times half, I'm going to get what? 1/4. Then the second one multiplied by this because it does not have 2 x's. You only need 1 x. You're going to have plus 9/4. And this will give you what? 10/4. 10/4 is what? 2.5. Therefore, the value of B is that. Does it look complicated? But when you see that, when you start to solve it, you can see that, straightforward. This is the way I'm going to do all the questions. I'm going to be straightforward, give you the fact you need to know to answer the question. A function f is defined by that. What is the value of f of x when x is equal to -8? They use these things to test whether you have the concept associated with the linear function and equation. F of s is y. That's all. So if I know x is equal to -1, -8, I just plug in. That's all. So you have -3, -8, plus 60. What is it going to give you? This is 24 plus 60. It give you 8. That's all. 20. It give you 84. That's all. Word problem. Whenever you see word problem, always every word, every sentence need to be translated into mathematics. That is the easy way to answer questions with the word problem. Don't read the whole thing and come back. You're wasting time. So translate. A producer is creating a video of 70 minutes. I know I need 70. The video will consist of a segment that have 1 minute long and 3 minutes long. That means they have to be 1 minute here plus 3 minutes here. Which equation represents the situation where x represents what? Number of minutes in 1 minute, x. And the segment that represents 3 minutes, y. That's all. 70 minutes, 1x plus 3y. You see it there? Right there. This is wrong because you flip the numbers. This doesn't make sense. You add the 3 to 1. We are not going to do that. Therefore, this is our right answer. A bowl contains 20 ounces of water. Same thing. As you read, you write it down. But pause the video, attempt to answer the question, and then come back. So what do we have? We have 20 ounces. of the bowl. When a bowl is uncovered, the amount of water that a bowl will decrease is what? 1 ounce every 4 days. So an ounce will be lost in 4 days. If 9 ounces of water remain, so whatever is left, now I have now ounces. How many days did you take? What is the difference? 11. 11 ounces of water is lost. If I'm losing 1 ounce every 4 days, 11 days, then I got to multiply by 4. I have 44. Don't make word problem difficult. Translate it into English and then put it together. In the expression given, you know it. I told you, it will look complex, but you can handle it. Where A and B are positive integers, like the same thing we saw. The product of the solution, that's the big word. It's not, the examiner did not put it there. They want you to use it to answer the question. The product of the solution is a big word. Is what? MAB, where M is a constant. What is the value of M? But you know what is the product of the solution. That's all. In a quadratic equation, you know what the product of solution you have to know. If I give you AS squared plus BX plus C, the product of the solution is C over A. The product of solution is what? C over A. That is the product of the solution. But they told you the product of the solution is what? MAB. Now, what is C? C here is AB. And what is A? 57. I cancel AB and AB. M is equal to what? 1 over 57. Your right answer is right there. It should not take you a long time to do it. You're just interpreting the question that is being given to you. Triangle MNO, the sum of the measures of angle M and N is 90. That should tell you these are complementary angles. The value of sine is what? 15 square root over 4. What is the value of N? Stop the video, answer this question. Let me know what you think is the answer. But use the concept you know. Whatever the triangle is, I know sine of a certain number plus cos of the other number, 90 minus that number is going to give me what? 1. Right? In the process, I know sine of the n, which is complementary to the cos of the m, is going to be 90, which is equivalent to the 1, right? That's the thing. And they're going to be the same. Sine of m and cos of n, or whatever they give you, is going to be the same value. Sine of m and cos of n should give you the same value so that it can simplify. And therefore, this is your right answer. Same thing, 15 over 4 square root. These are all wrong, wrong, wrong. You are using the trig information to answer the question. This is also a concept I want you to master, and I want you to write it down. If you don't know it, write it down. Okay, in the figure above, point ABC line on the circle. What is the measure in the degree of an arc, right? You're measuring the angle of the arc, the angle of the arc. What do you think you need to do to answer this question? Pause, answer the question on your own and try. But let me give you the concept. An arc angle for this is based on the central angle. And this central angle is also twice, is the central angle will get its value from the inscribed angle. If you multiply the inscribed angle, you're going to get a central angle. An inscribed angle will intersect the central angle at the same point. If this is 45, then the central angle has to be twice of that. And therefore, 2 times 45 is 90. So this answer choice is 90 degrees. That's all. That's the concept you should take when you answer its question regarding this. This is another monster, but you can handle it. Trust me, I believe in you. I'm telling you, you can handle it. When I solve it, you can see that, oh, I can do this. This is a rational equation. But all they're trying to tell you is you can turn into quadratic, simple one that you can measure and handle it without any difficulty. When they give you a rational equation, the best way to handle it is to clear the denominator, make them equal. So that's our mission right now. Your mission is to make the bottom numbers same as that. Therefore, I got to do something to this to make it that. I have 5 over x plus 3 plus 6x is equal to x minus 3. If I simplify, I have what? 5x minus 3 and then 6x, okay, x plus 3 all over the same numbers, x plus 3, x minus 3. You can open those brackets. If you open the bracket, you'll be left with 23x minus 15 plus 6x squared. This has to be multiplied by x plus 2 in order for the denominator to be cleared. So this is the equation now you have. You have to turn this into that. It's a long equation, but when you simplify, you got to multiply 23 times x, 23 times 2, 15 times what? X, 15 times 2. You will simplify it and it will turn into a different equation for you. In that process, you're going to get what? 6 3 cubed plus 35 s squared. If you do all of it, plus 31x minus 30. If you simplify all of them, and this is equivalent to what you have. You have A is equal to 6, B 35, C 31, and D minus the 30. And what is the question asks you? A plus B plus C. So you have 35 plus 31. You have 6, 6 plus 6. This will give you what? 72. So the right answer is 72. But they look complex. You have to do the algebra quickly and you get the answer. But try it and you can see that you get 72. I just don't want to expand all of it. But this is the way you can figure out how to expand them. You just have to know what you need to do. But this is the breakdown. The key step is what I've given you. If x is greater than 0, that means it cannot be 0. Which of the following is true so that the statement can be true? So what do you need to do? Same simplification, rational information, clear the denominator away from it. And therefore, we have 5 multiplied by x plus 2, and then minus 1 times 4. So this is what you have. Because this go here, minus 4 times 4. So you have 5x plus 4, 10 minus 4 over 4x plus 8. If you simplify, you get 5x plus 6 for x plus 8. And this is what? 5x plus 6, 4 times 8 plus 8. And this is the right answer, C. How many have you answered right? 11 questions, constant, associated with the SAT, SAT questions, concept. We are analyzing them. If you mix in a question, go back and watch it. But I would like to know, what is your score at this point? Put it down in the comment. If you're tired, go get something to drink and come back because we have 62 questions to go. And these are challenging SAT questions. If you're able to go through this, trust me, when you go and sit down, taking the SAT, it's a breeze. If you see this question, don't panic. is a dot plot. Shown represent a number of glue sticks brought in by each student for two classes, class A, class B. Which statement best compare the standard of deviation of the numbers of the glue stick brought in by each student for these two classes? A, standard deviation of glue student in class A is less than those in B. B, he said those in what? A is equal to B. C, those in A is greater than the standard deviation of those of B. And D said there's no information. What is usually your approach when you see this kind of question? Let me help you. Pick your answer choice first, but guess wisely, and then let me help you. But this is the way you approach this kind of question. Remember, the mean changes based on the normal and the quality of the data. But the standard deviation is the deviation from the mean. It's the spread. So if the shape of the graph is the same, standard deviation does not change. And this is how you can know if the shape is the same. Look at what they look like. They look the same. The spread, whether it's deviated towards the left or right, the spread is the same. Therefore, standard deviation does not budge. It has not changed. The mean may change based on the normal, right? The median may change, but look, the key concept, standard deviation does not change. So here, he said the standard deviation are equal to each other. So B is the right answer because of the shape of the graph. We are not changing the spread, but we are changing the normal. So it does not affect it. This is also my favorite question. In the system of equations shown, K is a constant. If the system has no solution, what is the value of K? Pay attention. When they give you a solution, whenever you say if in a question, it means you got to use it. There's no solution. If something has no solution in the linear equation, that means they don't touch the line. They don't touch each other. So this is parallel lines. Parallel lines doesn't it touches each other. Their gradient is going to be the same, but their intercept will be different. So your job is to prove that, right? All you need to do, make it like a linear equation, keep the y on one side and x on the other side, then you equate it. So if you take the first equation, I have 13y minus 13 over 30y minus 13 over 30y. You get 23 what? 20 over y. That's the first thing. Where is the x? Let's go here. Yes, 11 over 20 x. And then the 10 is already there. So you have plus 10 over 13. That's the first equation. Second equation, I have ky. You stay there. And then this number, you stay here. 11 over 10x. 11 10x, right? And then this go here like that. So 13 minus 33 is what? Minus 20 over 10. The intercepts are not the same, but the gradient looks similar. Why? I can change this. I can multiply this by 2. I multiply this by 2, by 2, by 2. This becomes 23 over 10. Y is equal to what? 11 over 10 plus 20 over 13. That means this gradient is the same as this gradient. And therefore, what do I have right now? What do you think? K of ky is equivalent to 23 over 10. And therefore, they want you to calculate K. That's all. What should it be? Your K is right there staring at you. That's the way you solve this kind of question. And therefore, K is equal to 23 over 10. Changes the way you want, but you got to follow the principle associated with it, and that will be able to solve this question. K has to be 23 over 10 to make sure that this equation has no solution. In the xy plane, the graph of a quadratic equation passes through the axis at two exactly points. These 2 points. Which of the following should be the equation? This is a tricky question. When you see this in the SAT, it's a bonus. They want you to take it and go away and make this point count. Why? Look at the numbers. -3, -50. These are roots of the equation because y values are all 0. If these are the roots, then what am I going to do? This has to be positive because it's already negative. This has to be negative because it's positive as a root. And this is equal to 0. That's what will give you this point. Therefore, which answer choice? This one, you make both all negative, wrong. This is good. This, they rewrite the same equation here, and we don't have 3 variables here. So your right answer is B. 15, I want to check in. I want to know how you're doing, how many questions you got right. I want you to put it in the comment section and let me know. And where you're watching from, and this video is helping you, subscribe for more content like that. Check our channel. We have more videos so that you can help you pass your SAT. This is simplification question and manipulation of radicals and other thing. They've given you that what? B raised to 3/2 is 8. And they want you to find square root of B. Where I know B 3/, this is the same thing as this is raised to 3. I can change this into square root of B, and that will give me what? 3 outside. And then 2 raised to 3. Same exponent, cancel each other. That means 2 is equal to square root of B. They want you to find square root of B. Your answer choice is 2. A bunch of words there. They look intimidating. Once again, rewrite the equation like weights. When you do that, it becomes easy. A submersible device is used for ocean research. The function, bunch of numbers. Giving the depth, that's the key. When they give you this, they'll describe it. This is the depth. That means this is G of S is the distance from the surface of the ocean in meters of the submersible device X minutes after collecting a sample, probably deep in the sea, where X is greater than 0. How many minutes would you, after collecting the sample, would it take for the submersible device to reach the surface of the ocean? See if you can answer it. Think about the concept. Think about the things they've said and try to answer the question on your own before you let me give you the answer. You get your answer? You at least you have some idea how to proceed. Go back to the question. G of S is this distance from the surface. So if whatever machine, submarine or something like that, you go down to pick something from here, it has to come to the surface of the ocean to be able to collect, figure out what is the problem. And this is giving you the depth, how far they've gone. The question is asking, after you get the thing, you got to go back. That means the only way you can go back is when what? The surface is 0. That means G of X is equal to 0. That's the depth. If you're going back, you have no depth below the ocean. They say coming to the surface of the ocean. That means equate all this into 0. That's all. And solve it in the quadratic equation. If you do that, you're almost 80% done with the question. G of X is equal to 0. The 15, don't worry about it. It's already factorized. Don't expand it. You don't need to do any expansion. If you expand it, you're complicating the question. Do not expand it, right? I already know that X minus 19 is my root now. And X plus 35 is another root. It said what? X has to be greater than 0. Pay attention to the condition attached to each question. Therefore, we can cancel 19 and take 35. So it's going to take 35 minutes to come to the surface. You got it? Straightforward, right? This is SAT maths. This is the way you break it down. The next question is also word problem. It's a little bit critical thinking, but you got it. A cube has an edge length of what? 68 inches. That's the cube. If you draw the cube, whichever way you want to draw it has an edge length of what? 68. Then there's a sphere, solid sphere with a what? Radius of what? 34 inches is inside. So we have inside it like that, such that the sphere touches everywhere. So it's covering every place of the faces of the cube. The nearest cubic, calculate in the nearest cubic inches, what is the volume of the space in cubic that not taken by the sphere? Or you know they are different shapes. So if you put a sphere in the cube, there will be some areas that is uncovered. So we're going to calculate the shaded area. That's all. What is the principle? Find the volume of the cube minus volume of the sphere, and that can give you the area of unshaded. That's all. And you know the volume of the cube is x raised to 3. That's 68 raised to 3. And you know the volume of the sphere is provided to you. It's one of the equations given to you, which is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. If you substitute the values, you're going to get a lot of big numbers. Be careful as you handle them. I know you can handle them. You end up having A as your right answer. But those are the numbers. You know the radius. This is just substitution, right? Radius is 34. Make sure you multiply 3 times or cube it times the pi 3 over 4. Calculate it. You have a calculator and subtract the 2. That will give you the right answer. In the xy plane, a parabola has a vectors of what? 9 minus 14. This is my favorite, one of my favorite questions, because it can trap a lot of people and people think it's a difficult question. It's straightforward. If the parabola intersect the x-axis at 2 points, that means we have a solution. A has to be greater than 0. If the equation of parabola can be written in this form, standard equation, a plus b and c are constant. What is the value of a plus b plus c? You say, oh, so many constant. How can I get it? You don't need to get them. You can get them at once. Once again, get them at once. Whenever they say a plus b plus c, try and see if you can get them at once. I know a has to be greater than 0. And when they give me vectors, I know y is equal to what? A x minus 9 square minus 14. That's is already taken care of. I know if a is greater than 0, but that's the condition. Every time you're trying to find what? A plus b plus c, if you put s is equal to 1 here, it will give you a plus b plus c. F of 1 is the same thing as what? A plus b plus c. Put f of 1 in this equation, and you see what it's going to give you. If you put f of 1 in that equation, you're going to get what? A 1 minus 9 square minus 14. This is going to give you, if you calculate it, 64 a minus 14. Now, you're not done yet. We have to satisfy a is greater than 0. So we know the y is being given. These are all our y. Because this is the sum of the solution, a plus b plus c, right? What you need to do, just substitute it. Make y minus 23, minus 19, minus 14, and minus 11, and see what you have. If I put, let's say, 23 here, 14 has to go back here, and 14, and because 23 is smaller than 14, you're still going to get a negative number. A has to be positive. That is taken care of. Wrong. Same thing. If I put 19, I'm still going to get a negative number. This is also wrong. If I put 14, I'm going to get 0. It says A has to be greater than 0. Therefore, D is your right answer. And this is the way you approach it. It looks intimidating, but that's the way you should answer this kind of question. A function provided, f of g, is defined as this. For what value of s does the function g reach its maximum? This is also a concept question. Maximum value. Pick your answer choice. Let me see. You can try to graph it, but I want you to like give yourself a break and use the concept. Sometimes when you know the concept, typing in a computer or anything is not going to help you. But what is the key? What is the key here? They say find the value of x, right? That will give you a maximum value. If you draw whatever the quadratic, whether it's facing here, facing up, here is the maximum value. And the maximum value occurs as a certain x. And that x is what? It's the vertex, the x of the vertex. Which is what? What do you think? Which is what? There's two ways to find it. You can use the vectors minus b over 2a, or the vectors is the symmetry of the equation. If I give you a graph, it's the symmetry. And based on this, these are the root of the solution. It's been simplified. Therefore, I know my roots are minus 8, right? Plus 2. That's all. These are the root of the equation. If I need the middle of it, so the root 1 has to be here, here. The middle is the vectors of that root. Is the midpoint. How do you calculate midpoint? 8 minus 8 plus 2 over 2. That will give you minus 6. Therefore, the vectors x over 2. And this is what? Minus 3. That's the midpoint of the equation. And therefore, this is t. That's how you calculate the vectors x value. Is the midpoint of the roots that you've been given. So our x value is going to be minus 3. And question 20. Rational equation. When you see this kind of question, it asks you what is the value of a certain number. If you give you a fraction or anything like that, or multiplication, try it when you're working, keeping that in mind. Don't separate it. If you start separating information, it will take a long time to come back. So for this one, I'm just going to clear the fraction. Clear the fraction. Multiply 5 to 4a minus b is equal to 3a plus b. Then when you open it, I get 20a minus 5b is equal to 3a plus 3b. I need a over b. I send this one here, I'm going to get what? 17a. I send b back here, I get 8b. They said I should do what? What did they ask me? A over b. A over b. I put b here, I put 17 down here. So I take the b off, I take 17 here, I have a over b. A over b is what? 8 over 7. And 8 over 17, and that's your right answer. This is the way you do this kind of question. Be careful what is being given and what you're trying to achieve. That's the most important. This is the expression given to you. For the given function f, what is the maximum value of f? If you mix this question, it's because you read it wrongly. Why? The main problem is f of s. F of s means y. So they want you to find y value. Whatever the x is, what should be the y value? But what did they tell you? Maximum. There is a maximum there. So there is always a maximum point of y. It corresponds to a specific value of x. Therefore, find x, plug in into the equation, you find the maximum value of y. But where does the graph undergo maximum projection? At the vectors. Therefore, what you should do, find x of the vectors, plug it into the equation, and then you get the answer. What is the x? How do you find it? Minus b over 2a. This is the x value of the vectors. Based on that, minus b It's minus 12. And therefore, you're going to have 12 over 2. A is minus, and therefore you put minus 1. This is going to give you minus 6. The 60 x value, not the y value. If you plot x value here, you have minus 6 squared, minus 12, minus 6, minus 36. There's a clue. If you see a bunch of negative, that means your maximum value has to be 0. If you had this is going to give you 0. Y is 0. And the only place they can get a maximum value of the y is at 0 based on this equation. Therefore, if you see this in SAT and you get the answer 0, don't panic. It's 0. And therefore, y is 0, which is f of x. And that's that question. 66 is the result of when a normal y is decreased by 12%. What is the value? Once again, I told you how I interpret West's problem. And I think it's very important you got to adopt your own. I'm going to write the expression like that. The normal 66 will happen is the result. That means it will happen when there's a specific number, y is decreased by what? 12%. I would say 66 is as a result of what? When I multiply 88 times what? Y will give me 66. And that's the way I'll write my equation. 66 is 0.88y. And if I calculate y, I have 66 over 0.88. And I will give you 75. You can also do it different way, right? 12% is what? 1 minus 0.12. Y. This will give you 0.88. So it depends on how you interpret the question, you get the same answer. I love this graph because it's a little bit confusing, but it's not. For the 3 linear equation graph in the XY plane, which of the following is true about the system? All the lines are in the system share a single point of intersection. All 3 lines in the system are decreasing. The system has a solution in every quadrant except plus x and minus y quadrant. There are no solution to the system. Well, you got to prove it. Read each question and then say yes or no. That's the way you can answer the question, true or false. I see this is the x-axis and the y plane. I see intersection here, here, here. There's 3 lines. They don't intersect at one point like that. You don't have this. You just have 2 lines intersecting. Therefore, all 3 lines does not share a single point. All 3 lines in the system are decreasing. This is increasing. This is decreasing. It's false. There is no solution for the system. Maybe right. They say the system has a solution in quadrant what? Plus and minus. So plus x minus y here. Well, that's not true. Here, this line is passing through, and there's specifically no solution in that area, but it does not mean all the 3 are joining together anyway in any place. And therefore, your answer choice is D. There is no solution in the system. I love this question because it tests some knowledge. And if you see it, I'll show you how to answer them easily. It's the straightforward way to answer it. You may see some people who answer it in a complex way. Give you a few seconds, and I will do it for you. This is a graph based on the equation. It said y is f of x, as shown above. So this is f of x. And it said f of what? X plus 7. That means there's a shift towards the left. Why? To go that way, you got to subtract it. When you subtract, you got going to go left to get to the original value. The original value is x. If I had plus 7, for me to go back, I have to subtract the 7. That means there's a shift. This is the long equation. Should you panic? Ignore it. Where m, n, and p are constant. Determine which one of this could be true for n. This n here, it has a square. M also has a square. P and N does not. That means it's passing through. I will interpret it. You see, when you look at the diagram, there is an intersection along the x-axis. That's why this is it. These are the roots. There's one that go across just once. It passes through. Usually, it's that one without the s square. The one that bounce back in and out as they are the true root. They have the square root. 3 is a square root. Minus 1 is a square root. Minus 4 is just passing through. Now, they said determine which one of these could be the value of n. Don't worry. All you need to do, find the root, which I've told you. The roots are what? Minus 1, minus 4, and 3. But we want that root of x plus 7. X plus 7 is what? Left shift. Therefore, if I had x plus 7, which is the left shift, should give me what? These roots, minus 1. X plus 7 should also give me minus 4. X plus 7 should also give me what? Plus 3. Those are the key. Now find the value. 7 minus 1 will give you minus 8. 7 minus 4 will give you minus 11. 7 plus 3 will give you what? Minus 4. Now, what do you think is going on here? We know that when we go through minus 4, this one, this is not a true function. Therefore, we're going to ignore it. But when we go through minus 1 and 3, here, it bounces back. Therefore, our true root are minus 8, minus 4. These are our true roots. But when you look at the answer choice, you say, there's no minus 4, there's plus 4, there's minus 11, minus 3, minus 8. Well, there was never minus 4. There is minus 11, but it's not one of the roots because it passes through. There's no minus 3. There's what? Minus 8. I'm going to pick that answer choice. If there's minus 4, I will pick it. So one of the roots of n is minus 8. That's how you solve it. It's the straightforward question, complex equation, and therefore the answer is D. That's your right answer. The equation m to the power x minus n passes through a point this. What could be n? When I see this kind of question, they're just trying to like disturb your brain. Your brain sees this, you said, I've never seen before. Look, you've seen it. This is xy. This is xy. If it's confusing you, change the number in something that you become tangible. You've seen it before. You can handle it. Just make it sound like that. That's all. That's the way I tell people. Like when you're solving this kind of equation and you say, oh, I've never seen this before. You've seen it. Just change it the way it can become more comfortable for you to handle it so that you don't have to panic and say, I need to interpret it. No, you know these answers. You know them. Just make them look like the way you want it to be. That's all. So what do you think? We have m to the power x minus n, right? And they give you a point. Assume this to be like a linear equation. That's all. And these 2 points passing through, what should be n? I can tell you, if I'm taking this test, the first thing I will do, I will just substitute the values in. I have m, whatever you see x, put the first variable. You get a, and then is equal to n, and 9, because y is 9. That's your first equation. The second one, you do the same thing. X is 2a minus n is equal to what? 219. You have two equations. I know you can handle it. You can solve it. If the m raised to the 2 or m2a or a is disturbing you, look, why don't you replace ma to x? whenever they're bothering you, just do that. So whenever I see ma to the power a, I'll put x. So this will become x minus n is equal to what? 9. That's the first equation. Now it's comfortable, right? You can see it much, much better. This one also will become what? X to the power 2 minus n is equal to what? 219. Now I have two equations. Subtract this from that. You're going to have s squared minus x. The n is gone, and this will be 210. You see, now we get quadratic equation that you're more comfortable with, right? This will become s squared minus x minus 210. You can factorize this. You're going to get 15 and 14 minus 15 x plus 14. These are your factors. That means our root is equal to what? 15 and minus 14. Now you got to go back and satisfy the equation. We know that for this to function well, right, m of a, because it's a root, m of a should have to be greater than 0. That means, what are we going to do? We're going to ignore the x that is minus 14 and then use x as 15. And then you plug in here. I have 15 in this equation, become 15 minus n is equal to 9. N is 15 minus 9. And this will give you what? 6. And that's your right answer. This is your right answer. So you got to be careful while you do this. If it's disturbing, change the numbers the way it's supposed to be, that you're more comfortable. And when you come back, make sure conditions are met, right? You meet the condition. And the only way this equation can be true is when the whole thing is greater than 0. And that's all. Now, this is also a tricky question. When you see it in SAT, you think like, oh, they're trying to trap me. 4x plus 5x is equal to 6. Y is equal to 4x. If x and y are the solution to the system of the equation, what is the value of x? Well, if they are the solution, they should satisfy both. Where I have an equation where I can substitute y here, like that, straightforward, right? 4x will become what? 5 into bracket 4x. Because y is 4x, it's equal to what? 6. And therefore you have 4x, 20x is equal to 6. This will give you what? X will be 6 over 24. And you know this is 1/4. Substitution, straightforward equation. You see this kind of question on SAT is the point question you want to claim the point, because everybody is going to get it. And if you mix it, well, your grade is going down. I like this question too. If you take a different route, it take you a long time to solve it. But if you take a better route and look at it carefully before starting, you'll be able to solve this in less than 10 seconds. What is the problem? 3 to the power 75, 2 to the power 100. Which one is larger? I can see that these are multiples of 5. Therefore, I can break this into what? 3 times 25. That's all. And then this, the same thing. 4 times 25. 2 exponent, clear out. Therefore, 320 to the power 3 is what? 27. Versus 2 to the power 4 is 16. 27 is greater than 16. Therefore, this is the right answer. If you take a different route, it's going to be a long journey. That's the way you approach it. The line M can be rewritten as what? YQX. It does not matter. It's the usual way. Change the Q, make it M plus C. It is given that the points, this line on M, what is the value of C? This is the same thing we did. We did it right now. We changed the numbers. It's a line equation, and we put in some fancy a, 4a, fine. It's the same point. But if they want to make the question complicated to make you scared, they change the thing. You can make this mx, that's what you know. And here, 2a, you can make this x and you can make it y, but you got to make sure whatever value you get, you come back. Now, this is in the form of what? Linear equation. That's all. Plus c. Oh, there's a gradient of q and the intercept of c. That's all. And he said these x and y values lay on M. Really? If you lay on M, then you should satisfy my Q. I can put this to this and I'll get a what? Gradient, and that will be equal to the Q. That's all. So let's calculate the gradient then, which is 4, 6a, that's the y2 minus y1 minus 4 plus 3a, that's the top one, because this is y1. x2, 4a minus 2a. This will give you what? This is an a. You have 4 minus 4, 0, minus 6 plus 3a. This is supposed to give you what? This is 3a. This is going to give me 2a. A cancel a, and therefore our gradient is 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2. That's your first step. Now I got to find c. C is the constant of a linear equation. You know how to find c. If you have x and y and you have a gradient, c is a breezy. You got it. So we can pick any of the numbers we want. I see 2. I prefer this because 2 can cancel it easily for me. So y is 4 minus 6a is equal to, that's the gradient, minus 3 over 2 times x, which is what? 4a, right here. And I put plus c here. This cancel this. You have 2, and therefore you have minus 6a. I see minus 6a. This will come, it will become plus 6a. That will cancel off, and therefore c is equal to 4. Is it difficult? I got you. This video is designed to help you pass the SAT. If you watch all the 62 questions, there is no question that will beat you. You have the capacity to handle those questions, not because they're going to be the same question, they can change the variables. But whenever you see them, it will picture, it will pop out like a candy and say, boom, I got this. I've seen this before. And that's the purpose of this video. Scattered plots with the line of best fit. It can be trappy, but I got you. I'll show you next time. You will never make a mistake if you make it. The scatter plot above shows the data of 10 colleges campus along with the line of best fit. For the college with the greatest percentage of students who studied abroad, which of the following is closest to the difference of actual percentage and the percentage predicted? If you see this question, it's a actual versus predicted, they're looking for residue, right? Residue is usually the actual, what we got during the experiment, but what was predicted by the graph will give it to you. There's difference. The actual is the points that you obtain. This is what you did experiment, and this is what the experiment gave it to you. And then you draw your line of best fit to predict that this is what it's supposed to be. Therefore, they said, calculate the one with the highest, greatest point and the difference between the percentage. Pause the video, try it, and let me know. And then you can watch the way I approach it. Always pause it, answering yourself as you learn, you watch this video. The way to answer this is to find the actual. The actual, the greatest is this one. So you plot the line like this, going this way. Then you draw the line coming down. Wherever it's going to intersect is what is predicted. This is what it was predicted to be, but this is the actual. You trace it back, and here it's close to 55 in the middle. When you trace this back, this is almost 42. The difference will give you 13%. And that's your answer choice. So that's the way you can find the actual and predicted value. Therefore, D is the right answer. Even if you screwed up, the examiner is no. Like we all are human. We can't trace things the way it's supposed to. They won't give you an answer choice that is close to each other. If it's close, there will be 4 or 5 points between them. That's why 9 and 13 far away. But you can't be far away from the answer. 13 and 5 is completely wrong. And you can't be 27 points away. Usually, they can give you one. If they want to confuse you, can give you 12, 13, but they won't do that. The 9 and this is too far away. So even if you make a mistake, there's no way you pick 9. And this question, it has some knowledge associated with it. It's a trick question. You know it already. And I'm going to give you emphasize those points. Sine 30 cos 60 over sine over cos 45 times 45 cos 0 and this. Whenever they put these on the numbers that you're supposed to know together, there's a reason why they're teaching you. So let's break them down, right? You know the cos of this number, okay? If the cos of a certain number or sine, they complementary each other to 90. So sine 30 is the same thing as cos 60. And this is the way you can use it to answer the question. That's how you can master it, right? But you have to know their numbers. If you can't click on the formula you've been given, you see 30, 60 triangle, it will give you cos 30 and a 45, but I will give you those numbers. Just know sine 30 and cos 60 is a classic numbers. Sine 30 is what? Half. Everybody knows sine 30 is half. Sine 30 is the same thing as cos 60 because of complementary function of the two. Therefore, this also has to be half. Cos 45 is square root. You got to use the 45 angle. This is square root of 2 over 2. And if you square this, what do you think is going to happen? What? 2 over 4. And that will still remain 1 over 2. Right? And the tan of tan 45 square is 1. So this is plus 1. The cos of a certain 0 is also 1. And cos 60, we know, is half. So this is times half. That will be what? Half here, like that. Now, simplify. We have 1 over 4 times 2 over 1 plus 1. These times that will be like 1 minus 1 over 2. Therefore, this will be what? Half. So you have half plus 1 minus half. This cancels that, and the answer is just single 1. Practice it, learn the coordinates, learn how to master them. You can see that when they put this together, they're telling you, you know the answer already. So that's 1. 13 is p% of 25. What is the value of p? Once again, it's the way you interpret it. So as you read it, you draw the diagram. So 13 is, that means, is the results of p%, p over 100 of what? Of its multiplication of 25. That's all. So if you solve for p, it will be like 13 times 100 over 25. What do you think it will give you? 52. And this is 52. That's your answer. Right there. How are you doing so far? We passed the level of 30. If you're tired, like you go get something to eat. This is halfway. Go drink something, come back, go take a shower, and let's hammer this down so that we can know all the concepts we need to know for the SAT. The function f is defined by f of s is equal absolute value of x over a minus 14. And then boom, they give you a condition. A is what? Less than 0. That is key. If you ignore it, you get the answer wrong. Once again, if you ignore function and the instructions associated with that function, especially condition, that will be bad. What is the product of what? Multiplication of 15a and then 7a. I will show you why it's very important to pay attention to the condition. We know y is equal to absolute value of x over a minus 14. All you need to do is to substitute those functions in it, right? You know that a has to be less than what? 0. That means this also has to be less than f of 7a has to be less than 0. F of 15a has to be less than 0 for the function to work. Therefore, if I put 15a, what am I going to have? If I put here, for it to be less than 0, it has to be the negative of the absolute value over a minus 14. This cancels thus. Then it just give you what? 20, what? 9. If you don't do that, you get the wrong answer, different. This will be 1, because if you choose the positive number. Same thing. I have to choose absolute value of the 7. So minus 7, a over a minus 14. That's all. What are you going to get? Minus 21. They said the product of these two numbers. So these two multiplied by each other, you're going to get 609. It's a key fact. If you ignore it, like I said, you get it wrong. O is the center of a circle. If the measure of the angle 1 is 100 and the measure of angle 2 is 20, what is the measure of angle 3? This is testing specific information on circles, and you have to know it for your SAT. What do you think? Pause the video, answer it to your own, and then let me know. You pick your answer? Good. This is an inscribed angle. But what is the definition of inscribed angle? Find the central angle. The central angle has to start from 0, and it has to attach to 2 points of the circle. Anything that joins those 2 points together is also an inscribed angle. I see this, come here like that, boom. This one also go here, boom, that's inscribed. This also come here like that, boom, and you go to the same area. So you have 2 inscribed angles right there. So that's very, very important. Now, use that theory, and they said, oh, okay, they said 1 is what? 100. If this is 100, this is what? It's a line, so this has to be 80, so that we can 180. They've given you 2, they said 2 is 20. This plus this angle should be equal to 180. You have 8 plus 80 plus 20, that's 100. That means this has to be 80. Since this is an what? An inscribed angle, the relationship is 2 times that angle will give you the circle, the center of the circle. This is what? What is the number do you get here? We get 80. So 80 times 2 will give you 160. So that's the angle of 3, because it's what? Central angle, and is related to what? The inscribed angle, and that's how we can find the answer choice associated with that. Very, very important to pay attention to that concept. The rational function, they always disturbing, of f of x is defined by a plus b plus c. A, b, c are constant, right? The graph of f of x does not intersect. They said it does not intersect what? The vertical line axis. minus -1. It is given that f of 4 is equal to 0, f of 6 is equal to 0. Determine the value of a, b, c. Whenever they give you all the questions about ABC, you can solve it the same way. Don't let them trap you. They can make it fancy, but not. I will interpret it to you. In a rational equation, the asymptote becomes 0, and that is what it means. X vertical line does not intersect. It does not touches the X line at all. It stays away from the X minus 1. Therefore, the first thing you can say is S plus what? C. This can be written as what? For it to be 0, we have 3 minus 1 times -1 plus C is equal to 0. And therefore, C is what? What is your C? 3. So you get C already. Now, how do you find B and A and B? You already know it. Look at what they've given you. F of 4 is 0. F of 6 is 0. They're not going to tell you. When they write this, there's a reason why they want you to recognize that this has to be 0. If X for certain function give you 0, that is the Y. Both of them are the root of the equation. Therefore, I don't even have to touch this. I write this, what? -4 into bracket X minus 6. Those are my roots of the equation. This will give me 0. If you expand this, you get S squared. You got to add this to, you get 10. And then you got to multiply. That's the product of the solution. This is a summation of the sum of the solution is always the middle one. And the product is the last one. So you get what? 24 is equal to 0. This is equivalent to that, right? There is no exponent x squared, there's 1. Ax is equal to 10 minus, right? Ax is the same thing as minus 10x. And therefore, A has to be what? -10. What is your B? Well, the B corresponds to the 24. It's a constant here. Boom. So I have B is equal to 24. They said, determine A plus B plus C. I have C is equal to 3. A is equal to -10. And B is 24. Sum all of them up. And you get what? 17. Straightforward. So your answer has to be 17. What do you think? Did you get the same answer? Or you use a graph function? But I can do the same faster way that you're going to put it in. This will be able to calculate for you. You have to know the concept so that if you don't have a calculator, you know. But it's good to know math and know how to interpret it. You got to understand this concept before even you can put it in a computer. If you don't understand it, you can't input it in a computer. I love this question. You can solve it in a different way. I've solved it in so many ways, but I came up with some easy and the smartest way to do this multiple percentages question. Tokens, let me underline the keyword, and you know what I mean. There's a ticket to a certain concert that is on sale, right? Sales price. So you write sale price is what? 20% off of what? Original price. The members of a club are offered. So if you're a member, you will get 10% of the sales price. Of this new sales price, you get 10% of that sales price. If the member price for the ticket, this means M is X%, I don't know, of the original price. That's all. What is X? I got to find it. I don't know original either. Look, you can combine all these things and solve it. You can solve it. You can write the equation. Based on that, you can equate all of them and you solve it. But I'm showing you a strategy. We started with 100% because there's a percentage change. The first discount was 20%. That means you buy the thing at 80, right? 80%. Then the second discount is what? 10%. That means you buying the thing at 90% of the 80. You see what I've done? This will give you 72. And they're asking you, what is the value of S? If the minimum price for the ticket they're going to buy is a percentage of the original, the percentage of the original is the difference. So 100 minus 72 will give you 28. So this is your right answer. Tricky, but you can put the numbers together and you get the same thing. You're going to get the same thing. Why? Because the actual amount they pay is what? The X member, how much they pay, right? Is 1 minus the X. The takeoff of that amount times the original will give you the percentage of the initial. But it's a long equation. I like to do it this way, whichever work for you. So far as we get the same answer. This is a system equation formula and how to answer system of equations. In the system of equation above, m is equal to n, and both m and n are positive. What is the value of y? You think they just basically, why would you set this question? Well, you have to know what they're telling you, follow instructions, and use it. I have m and n here, but now they're telling me m is equal to n. Look, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to put n is equal to m, and I solve it. That's all. You don't need to substitute, solve for one, then finally substitute. This is the same as m plus 3y is equal to what? Minus 48. And then you're done. Right? They say find for y. Why would you do anything that these two subtract from each other? That's all. Subtract each other. Let them subtract each other, and you'll be left with what? What do you think you'll be left with? You subtract them from each other. This will be what? Minus 12y is equal to what? 60. And y has to be what? 60 over 12 negative. You can simplify. That will give you what? Negative 5. That's all. Therefore, we're going to pick this. Number 5. B is the right answer. 37. This equation look intimidating, but if I tell you can solve it easily, you got to use the condition, these two conditions. If you've never seen one before, use this condition to solve it. They tell you g of x, whatever it is. I usually don't read the equation. I just look at it and I can work with it, right? For the given g, m, n, all of them are constant. A g4 is equal to 0. I know this is a root. That's my key. But this root is not constant. He said it has to be greater than 0. It's a root, but it's not acting like a proper root. So what do you tell yourself? Find m plus n. Whenever they're dealing with root, they always tell you plus something numbers in the equation. That's what they're telling you. I'll show you that they steal the root. Therefore, what you write, 4 x minus 4, then x minus 5. That's all. Those are the root is equal to 0, but you got to prove it. What is the problem? G of 4. When x is 4, what are we going to do? We put it in this equation. Simplify this. Don't make it bigger. Don't expand it. Because x minus n square root are common, this is going to be m plus 12, bracket close, and then this guy, x minus n. Now, if I put x is equal to 4, what are you going to get? You get m plus 12, and you have what? 4 minus n. That's what you have. They are equal to 0. If you have product rule, two numbers multiply each other, giving you 0, that means m plus 12 is equal to 0. M is negative 12. Y minus n is equal to 0. N is equal to 4. And you ask yourself, something is not right. What is not right? M cannot be what? Negative, because the answer choice has to be greater than 0. and therefore this is not a true function. When you're doing the SAT, you get a question, answer choice that doesn't satisfy, eliminate it. Therefore, this is not the true function. The true function, you have to now find it using n of 4. And how do you find it? Look at the next equation. The g of 5, now you got to put another root. You can use root twice. G of 5, wherever I see x, I put 5. I have m, I'm calculating it, 12. And then n, x is what? X is 5. And I know n is 4. And therefore, this becomes 1. Therefore, g of 5 has to be greater than what? What do you think? That's the key concept you have to know. That's the key concept. Is equal to m plus 12 greater than 0. Therefore, m is greater than what? Minus 12. That's the answer choice you're looking for. M plus n, and it should be a certain number, right? M plus n should be a certain number. What is m? M is 4, minus 12, and n is 4. If you add them together, you're going to get minus 8. Then you say, what should I do? Oh, what should I do? Look at the trick. You find m plus n, 4, n minus 12 will give you minus 8. So what should be the right answer? It's coming from here. The answer choice they've been giving you, you got to make sure g of 5 is greater than 0. This is your g of 5, and it should be greater than 0. But they don't give you answer choice that are greater than 0. That means any of answer choice that is greater than this one is still greater than 0. That's the way you assume it. Minus 20 is not greater than minus 8. Minus 12 is not greater than minus 8. Minus 8 is the same as minus 8. The reason why the right answer is D is because it's now greater than the answer choice you got. You see, m plus n, right? So the g of 5 has to satisfy that. And that's why this is minus 4. Watch this portion again. Next time when you see this kind of question, it's all based on the condition set. The condition set always destroy the equation. If you don't take care, you get them wrong. So you gotta pay attention to what they're telling you. A community club word problem. I've shown you how to do it. You cannot just read it. As you read, you put it together. A community club has a total of that. That means this is the total, 7980. Enroll in that year. This represent, that means this number is equivalent to 5% increase from the number of members enrolled last year. If member enrolled last year is X, 5% increase is 105. That's all, percent of X. So find 105% of X. Or you can say 798 original. I don't know. This is the original, and I've increased by 0.05. This is going to give you the same answer choice. 1.05 times X, 7980. And then you do your calculator, you punch in the numbers, you're going to get B as your right answer. In a triangle MNO, the N is a right angle. The measure of the angle O is 33, and the length of N is what? 26 units. If the area in square unit of triangle MN can be represented by the expression W tan 33, where W is a constant, what is the value of W? A bunch of words, rewriting in mathematical order. They tell you MNO, and N is a right angle. So N has to be here. And the measure of angle O, so O is here like that, and M. The measure here is 33. And the length of NO, this is 26 units. If the area in the square units of a triangle can be represented, that means this area is the same as W tan 33. But I say, oh, what is tan 33? Well, if I got to get W, I got to find tan. Tan 33, what is the constant, right? Tan is opposite of adjacent. Therefore, I'll put W here. And therefore, my usual tan 33 is equal to what? W over 26. And therefore, W is what? 26 tan 33. But what is my area? What is my area? Half base, which is 26, times height, which is the W, which is the same thing as what? 26 times 33. But tan, I know the area is the same as what? W tan 33. That means tan 33 cancel each other. And you have 26 times 26 divided by 2 will give you W. And the answer will be this if you do it right. But the main idea is to draw the triangle, know how to express the triangle given, and rewrite. Basically, you're doing the same thing multiple times they've given you just to satisfy the requirement. 40. We are 75% away. How are you doing? If you need a break, take a break. If you need more content, check my channel. You learn all this math. But these 62 questions, trust me, cover every range to give you concept. We're giving a triangle is equal to equation equal to 0. In the given equation, that means there is a condition coming. C is a constant, is a number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The equation has exactly 0 solution. What is the value of C? You know this. I've talked about it. We've seen questions about it. The condition is very important. If it's a 0 solution, this is a quadratic equation. That means our discriminant has to be equal to what? 0. That's all. What is our B? It's 30. You put 30 squared. For A, it's minus 9. C is C. It's equal to 0. And then you solve your equation. You just put in the numbers and then you substitute them. This is going to give you 900. This is going to give you plus 36. C is equal to 0. C is minus 900, right, over 36. That's going to give you minus 25. That's your right answer right here. That's all. Based on the condition given, we're satisfying the equation. The regular price of a shirt at the store is this. You see the word problem, it keep on coming, and you know what is coming. They're going to decrease it again. They're going to decrease it again, keep on decreasing. And I show you how to like make them small as much as possible. And so I will show you whichever formula work. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I stay with the original. They say initial, right, is what? $11.70. Okay. The sales price of the shirt is 80% less. That means it has dropped 80% less. That means we're selling it is 80% off. We're taking 80% off. That means we're selling the actual sales price. If the thing is what? You buying the thing 20%. So 20 over 100 times 11.7. So this is how you buying it. You buying the thing $2.34. And the sale price, then how much we buying it is what? 30% greater than the store cost. Now you see the third one. That means 30% greater than the store cost for it. That means the sales price, okay, it has to be 30% greater than the store cost. If the store cost is a certain number, that means 30% greater, you got to add 30% to it. That means 1 plus 30%, which is what? 0.30 of the store cost. And you need to calculate what? What was the store cost? That's all. If you have SP here, is this, we already know it. SP here, that means you can equate this to that. That means 2.3, this is 2.34 should be equal to what? 1.30 of the store cost. And then you calculate it. That's all. This will give you $1.08. These kind of multiple calculation, if you master them, instead boom, 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 you just kill it. And then you ace the test. How are you doing so far? Given that x is equal to that, what is the sum of the solution? Same thing. You see the same thing keep on coming. You know the sum of the solution is the middle number with the x. So I got to expand this to give me that. If you expand this, you get s squared plus x minus 56. And this is going to give you what? 4s squared and what? 28x. Do you bring everything here? You're going to get 3s squared plus 29x minus 56. What is the sum of the solution? It's minus b over a. What is minus b? 29. So 29 negative. A is also negative 3. This is going to give you what? 29 over 3. And that is your answer. Do you see 29 over 3 there? Right there. Boom. You ace it. And you get your answer. Straightforward. Scary math. Scary math. When you see something like that, they don't want you to expand it. You have a long equation is equal to another long equation that is being factored. This is the SAT traps, right? I saw this. I said, look, I have a factored equation for me. That's the root. Another factored equation for me. That's the root. Why am I going to open it? It's been already factored, and they're telling you they are equal to each other. What is the value of x? Well, these are factored. My root are what? Minus 3, minus 9. These are minus 5, minus 7. These are your root. They don't look the same. They don't. That means there's no solution at all. How do you check it? Open them up. You know this is going to be s squared. You're going to add the two numbers, the factors, sum of the factors, which is 12x. Then you're going to multiply it. It's going to be 27. Let's see if it's equal to, you know, you're going to have s squared. You're going to add this. It'll be 12x. Then you're going to multiply them, 35. Well, this is going to cancel. 27 is not the same as 35. Therefore, there is no solution for the equation. It's not a trap. It's just concept they wanted to know. Exponential graph, you have to know how to write them down. In basics, y is equal to some constant, right? And some rate and x, right? This is the way you write it, depending on what is going to happen. Now, for the function f, the value of x, this value of x, f of x, that's your y, is decreased by what? 45% of every increase in the value of what? X by 1. Therefore, if I increase the value of x by 1, the whole function is going to decrease. Oh, what is happening? Therefore, I know my initial, they've given me this f of x is equal to 0. Therefore, initial has to be 14. And if I start from somewhere, the next step when there's an increase in x, I'm going to lose what? 45%, which is 0.45 of the x. I know this is 55. That means I will be left with 55 information. So this is going to be 0.55 of the change in x. Do you see the question there? Here, they get trapped. They just had 45, right? You can't do that. You got to subtract it. Here, they used the initial. You can't do that. This is our man. And here, they use the initial as exponent again, just to trap you. If you don't take a look at it, your eyes will deceive you and you pick the wrong answer. So these are some of the questions I wanted to pay attention to. In the graph of this, it shifted down 5 units. That's something you can mix it so easily. When a graph is shifted down, be careful. Down is only talking about y-axis. What is the y-intercept of the graph? Don't make any complicated equation. Don't simplify it. I want you to stop the video, listen to this strategy. A graph that is shifted along the x-axis, you take care of the y. You remove y from the equation. Don't expand it. Don't do anything. A graph that is shifted along the y-axis, x is equal to 0. Why do you want to expand this and factorize it? X is equal to 0. Therefore, I have 33. Y is equal to 297. What would it be? That's all. You divide that by that, you're going to get 9. This is not your answer. We've shifted down. So subtract the amount of shift minus 5 will give you 4. So the x value, the y value is 4 going down. You can add the 5. The answer choices are favorable. Could have put 9, but I forgot. So this is minus 5. You subtract the 5 from the 9 and you get 4. Therefore, that's your right answer. A is your right answer. The function f of t is this. This is exponential group. Gives the number of bacteria in the population because they grow exponentially. After initial observation, how much time in minutes does it take for the number of bacteria in the population to double? If you never heard this before, I'm going to tell you this. You got to write it down. Stop the video. If they give you exponential growth and they're asking you for a double, look at the equation. F of t, 60,000, 2, and then t over 410. The equation is going to double if 2 is 1. Look at it. T over 410. If I have the initial, at the initial, t is equal to 0. And therefore, x will raise to the power 2 will raise to the power 0, which is 1. And you have the same of that. To double it, you need 2 to be just 1 to multiply by the initial. Therefore, if these all exponent has to be equal to 1, that's all. That's how you double. Every time you see this question, write it like that. And the question asks you about doubling time, this is what it means. That means t has to be exactly to be this so that they cancel and make the 2 1. And then you have double. It cannot be triple. No, you can't do that because it doesn't work. If it's quadruple, yes. If it's multiple of 2, you can do that. And therefore, you know what the t, you can just equate these to be 2, this 4, and it start increasing. So the right answer is 410. The same thing as the answer choice given. Same linear equation. At how many points do the graph of the given equation intersect in the xy plane? Is a trap. If you overlook it and you try to solve it, if you solve this question, there's a concept you're missing. They give you 2 linear equations. And he said, hey, which points do they already even arrange it for you. There's some they've not arranged it. But this one, they've arranged it in the normal y is equal to what? mx plus c. If they're asking me about the point of intersection, then it's going to be the gradient, the solution of the equation. Well, the gradient, if the gradients are the same and the intercepts are different, that means I have a bunch of parallel lines floating around. They're trying to come together, but they will never meet. They're going different place. Therefore, for no solution, this is a no solution problem because the gradients are the same and I have different intercept. Therefore, this is going to be 0. This is a key thing you have to know. You don't do anything. You don't even graph it. You look at it and say, boom, I know this answer. Now, let's get to this difficult question, but it's not difficult. We're going to put certain things together and I'm going to show you how to answer questions related to that. It's very straightforward. Look at the way I'm going to do it. You may see similar ones. They will change the variables, but this expression where b is a constant, it can be written as this. That means when you see this, they say this is the same thing as that. That means it's been simplified. They change the letters, right? If you redo the first one, it should look the same, where m and n and p are integers. Which of this is true? Look, they've done something for you. We got to make this look like that, right? Because there's numbers there. And therefore, I'm going to open this. I'm going to have ms squared. That means it's the first one. And to get the b, you know, the b is mx minus p. That's the first one, right? And therefore, I know I can just simplify m of x, and I know it's going to be, the second one will be n, right? And the x will go at the back like that. You can simplify it. And the 45, which is the product of the solution, is NP. So this is NP. If you master this multiplication, open a bracket, it becomes easy. Therefore, equate them. I know M is 4 right there. I know MP plus N is equal to what? B. I know MP is equal to 45. That's all. Or you can make it minus 45. It does not matter so far as you're just dealing with those numbers. Which of these is going to be true? Or integers? There's a trap and there's a concept. When two bunch of integers are playing around, right? If they're playing around, addition, subtraction, division, numbers around it, it's not always going to make them an integer. They may have odd numbers that will make them like have a fraction. So if they ask you this kind of question, all you need to look for is what is making up the product of the solution. Once again, what is making up the product of the solution? This is the product of the solution. What they give you this is NP. These are the only thing that can make the solution true for all integers. Therefore, NP is equal to 45. They can change it whatever. And this is what you have here. 45 over n is still part of the NP, right? 45 divided by n, 45 divided by p is going to give you integers. M is not part of the 45. Therefore, that's why. And the plus and minus always screwed up. So they are not integers. That's why B is way here. It has no interaction. B is formed by a multiplier and a division. It's not going to help you. And therefore, D is your right answer. Word problem. I'll show you the concept. By this time, you should be able to know how to like break these kind of things down and then ace your test so that you can get a higher score. You can look at it and say, oh, I know how to break this down. I know how to write the concept down. I know how to put the answer down the way it's supposed to. Therefore, which one? Two painting companies. Company M, okay, what do? Charges a flat rate. That means there's initial $80. First hour. Then an hourly rate of what? 60 after each additional. After each additional, that means after t equal to 0, then t minus 1. That's how they're going to charge you. It's very important. This is what, if you make a mistake, is from here. Company N, okay, what? No flat rate, 0. It's going to charge you 75 no matter what. T. Now, how many minutes will company N make more money than what? M. Therefore, 75T is greater than 80 plus 60T minus 60. Right? This will be 15T greater than what? 20. T, it has to be greater than 20 over 15. And that's our answer. After this particular time, this is going to give you what? 1.3, and you calculate times 60, that will give you 80 minutes. After 80 minutes, N is making more money than N. That's the key. The rate at which a certain object travels is X miles per hour. The object traveled 90 miles in 4 hours. What is the value of X? If you make the mistake about this, pause the video. I want you to answer. Put it in the comment section. Let me know how you approach it. And then put hashtag number 50 and where you're watching from, wherever country you are. I want to know. This is a straightforward question. It's not difficult. This is what the SAT usually like to ask, to test your brain. And you see, like, what are they asking me? They're not asking you anything. They're asking you about rate. The rate at which a certain object travel. Look at what they've done. They give you a rate, and they give you another rate, X mile per hour, and they give you another rate, X mile per hour. That should tell you this is the rate. And we know rate is distance over time. Well, they give me, they say X mile, that's my distance, over 1 hour. Okay. And the person went 19 miles. Okay. Over 4 hours. That's all. So you go 4 hours. Well, what am I going to do? I got to calculate X. All I need to do is divide 19 over 4 hours. That will give me X. It will give me X mile per hour. That's all. There's nothing to that question. You don't have to make it fancy. You will be tempted to change certain things, but don't. You know it. Don't do that because you know the thing. They're just trying to disturb you and trap you. You know it. So the answer choice is going to be what? 4.75 miles. That's what they ask you. 4.75 based on that. Okay. This is also a trappy question. How would you approach it? There's a concept, exponential concept of even numbers. If you have two even numbers and they are exponential to each other with the base, take the absolute value of that. Otherwise, you get it wrong. So X is equal to absolute value of minus 1 because there are other numbers. There's more than one number. There's about a total of 7 numbers. But because of the SAT, in most questions, they're looking for the first true numbers. So you take the absolute value of 1. Therefore, X is equal to what? X minus 1. This will be 0. This has no solution. If you take X is equal to minus X plus 1, because of the absolute value, this will be what? 2X is equal to 1. X has to be what? Half. This is the first true information that will satisfy the equation. So your answer choice, I'll put half as your right answer. This is also a simple expression that when you see it, it should come into your mind. When you see radicals, clear the radicals. How do you clear the radical? If it's a minus something, just add plus. That's all. So x squared minus 6 is going to be multiplied by x plus 6. And the under portion, you have 1 minus x6 all multiplied by x plus square root of 6. This, when you simplify this, is going to be x squared minus 6. This cancel. And you have x plus square root of 6. That's your right answer. Straightforward, right? And this is a monster, but it's not. Once again, it's a monster, but it's not because of what they asking you. We've seen this multiple times. It's a different variation. Sometimes they ask you a plus b plus c. Sometimes they have constant in the original equation. That's not matter. Expression of this is what? X raised to 18. You've never seen it before. Why would they give me 18? I don't care. It's equal to mx to the 9, 24. Just simplify it to the point. If you can minimize this to be x squared, you'll be able to handle it easily. What do you have? Look at what we have. They're telling you this bigger equation is the same as this. And what is the difference? Two difference, 18 and 9. Make it look like x squared instead of what we've been doing most of the time. You know it. Right? So what are you going to do? Think about it. Think about it. What are you going to do? What kind of approach are you going to do for them? I say make x raised to 9, maybe y or something like that, or x. I'm just going to change it to be a big S. If it's confusing, make it y. That's all. Make it just a y. Now you have a, right? You have a is equal to y plus b. Does that look familiar to you? C, y plus d. Oh, I can handle it now. I took the 9, x raised to 9 away. If you expand it, you know you're going to have what? AC is equal to square. Then the product, this one, the B and D are going to be here. The summation is what? A and C y squared, right? That's you got to do then. So A will multiply this and B will multiply it. Therefore, I'm going to have what? Y is going to be at the back. I'm trying to simplify it quickly so that you can see. That's the way you do it. And the A will multiply D. So AD plus BC. That's all. That is Y. This is equivalent to that. That means 15 is equal to AC. I have 15 is equal to AC. I have M is equal to that. M is equal to what? AD plus BC. And BD is what? 24. These are your solutions. That's all. These are your solutions. AC is 15 and BD is 24. That means if you have to calculate M, look at M. M is what? AD and BC. All the variables are there. If you know A, C, BD, you can still use them to find M. So they are there. AD plus BC. But how can you get the maximum variable? That means our roots, the numbers we need is 15, 24, 1, or something like that. There's so many of them. But to get the maximum, you got to combine the biggest numbers of all together. Therefore, 15 times 15 will multiply, and 1 times 1 will multiply. So the equation is going to be 15 times 24. That's the key. Otherwise, you're not going to get the right answer. Plus 1 times 1. This is satisfying this equation. And you know what it's going to give you. It's going to give you, this is 360 plus 1. Don't forget the 1. You get 361. This is your right answer. The maximum value of M has to be 361. And when you simplify, you see that. You see, I took this off, the S raised to the 9. It never affected the equation. I just took it off. And this is the same application. You have rational equation, polynomial, And then you see it is you look defeated. Don't get defeated. I've shown you a multiple of them, how to approach it. When you see a rational equation, take away the denominator, and then it become easy peasy, right? I have this, they're telling me is equal to this. Oh, but this is not regular like that. Why can't I make ax minus 2 all over here? That's your job. Now, if you do that, you solve the equation. And that's why they tell you x is not equal to what? 2 over a. Otherwise, you get a 0. Because when you solve this, this is it. That means asymptote will be 0. If I put equal to 0, I have 2 over a is equal to s. If it's that, this is all things 0, and the function is not true. They're telling you it's not. That's how they give you those conditions. In the process, I'm going to make all this to look the same, and I can take it out. If it's equal to 0, the equation is not true because this one doesn't satisfy. This will be what? A normal there, and this will be 0 and 0. Therefore, in order to take care of it, I'll make this x plus x 2 ax minus 2. So this multiplied by ax minus 2 minus 3 ax minus 2 minus 53. The 53 is going to cancel because there is already ax minus 2. And therefore, this is what the left side of the equation is going to look like. And then you simplify it. You got to be careful when you're simplifying it. If you do it carefully, you can see this is the same amount. So if that's the same amount, it's like a factor. You know, I try to show you some of the tricks when you factorize it. You don't have to waste time trying to open it. This is the same like when you're factorizing. Oh, so this is common to them. That means this times this. That means this equal to that. Or this into bracket this multiplied by that. The same thing. And therefore, if you expand it, it's going to be the 8. It's going to be the initial one minus that. The two x's will multiply each other. So you have minus 8 squared. So minus a s squared, right? And then the second one, 8 plus this. This will add it together, and you're going to get 16. This is 16 minus 3a is x. In the process, will be 47. I've calculated it already. But if you open these two and minus this, you're going to get this. This can be simplified because it's already simplified here. What is our 8a? 8a is 25. That's all. Minus 8a is 25. That's the first thing. That means our a is minus 25 over 8. But this is not true. This is not true because of the negative sign is going to affect the whole situation. It will affect this thing. So this is invalid. Take the other equation. This may be what is going to give you the root of the solution. So minus 3a is equal to what? 25. Much better. When you calculate, what are you going to get? A is what? You know you're looking for the value. What is our A? What do you think? We got to get your A from this. That means 3a. This go here, minus, you're going to get minus 9. A is equal to minus 3. It's no more a fraction. It's a whole number. In the process, if you substitute them, you're going to get the right answer. The other way to think about it, we get our A minus 25 over 8. And you say, oh, I don't see the answers like that. You are not wrong. It just it will make the solution not true in the end if you substitute it in. That's why the answer choice is not there. Don't stop there. You've not make a mistake. Look into the equation and say, oh, there's 2a here, there's a here, and there's a here. Let me satisfy this one. And this one is equal to 25. And then when you calculate, you get minus 3. That's why the answer choice is minus 3. It's a hard one, but it's advanced level 1. This is what gets you perfect score. And this is concept on circles. That it should be at the tip of your finger. That when you see it, you don't lose point. They say find the equation of a circle where this points are at the end point of the diameter. So you draw it. You say, oh, this is here. This is here. I have minus 8, minus 2. I have 8 and 2. Okay. I know I need the radius. The radius has to be in the middle. And what is the middle? Midpoint. How do you calculate midpoint? 8 minus 8 minus, right? You got to add them together, right? 8 minus 8 over 2. 2 minus 2, that's the x values and the y values over 2. That's midpoint. This is going to give you 0, 0. Therefore, the center, yeah, it's 0, 0. I'm at the center of the equation of the circle. Now find the length of this. This is going to give you 8 square plus 2 square because of the center of the circle is 0, 0. And this is going to be 64 plus what? 4. This will give you 68. So r square is 68. Now, the circle formula is based on the center, not point. So never use any point to write circle's formula, which is what? X minus h square plus y minus 8 k square is equal to r square. Well, I'm going to use what? The center. The center are 0. Therefore, s square plus y square. Square of this is 68. Therefore, the right answer is it. If you do it another way, you get it wrong. Some people get confused. They subtract. You see, this guy is subtracting the point from each other. They are not the same thing. And if finding the distance multiply with certain numbers, that does not work. Okay. My favorite calculation again. And I'll show you how to do them. I want you to master word problem. The weight of a trailer. So weight trailer A is what? 315% of the weight of what? B. That's percent. You know they're going to tell you B and C. Same thing. The weight or the same weight A is something about C. 0.025% of C. Now they have to tell you something about C. If the weight of C now is what? Percent of what? Weight B. Oh, then I can just equate things together. What is X? So the X percent. I know X percent has to be C over B. That's all. Can I change this into C over B where A and A are the same? That means 315B, right? 315B is very, very important. You must type percent is equal to 0.0625% of C. Change B, C over A. C over B is equal to what? 315% over 0.0625%. That's all. And then you do your calculation because this is equivalent to that. That should give you 50400. That's your answer. A very big number. But that's, if you follow the pattern, no matter how complex, you'll be able, because it's a relation, this test relation. The SAT is testing your logical progression of numbers. I don't like this question. Why? It will intimidate you. But if you sit back, relax, take a cup of coffee and say, oh, I got this. This is straightforward, right? But when you look at in face value, you say, oh, that's complicated. And I tell you, follow the conditions. They give you this, they say, oh, m is greater than 1, n is greater than 1. That means it has to be bigger number. It's not 0, it's not negative, that. But then they tell you n is that. Wow, why are you complicating things? Don't worry. Write them down. This is the same thing as 1 over 4. N is 5 over 6. But what did they tell you? They said just change the n, make it MA. So they're trying to complicate things for you. I have m is equal to 3 over 4. And then n is equal to what? M. I'm just replacing m as n. I have 2a minus 1. Oh my God, that's a lot of stuff. 5, 6. Then you get lost. You say, what are we doing? You got it. Just open the bracket. M 3 over 4 is the same thing as M. What is the problem? 2a times 5 over 6. That's all. What is he going to give you? What do you think? You're going to get 10a over 6. 1 and 5 will give you 5 over 6. These are all exponents. If I have the same numbers here, that means I have 3 over 4 is equal to 10a over 6 minus 5 over 6. And then you simplify this. If you simplify, you have 10a is equal to 38 over 4. A is equal to 38 over 40. This will give you 19 over 20. So the answer choice is 19 over 20. It looks complex. It requires some fast thinking to be able to analyze the question. 58. This, you've seen it before. We've done it multiple times. This is a different form, but why would the concept change? It's the same concept. Do you think it's going to change? No, it does not change. It's the same thing. What is the issue? P is the center of the circle of the figure. What is X? They're asking you about central angle concept. That's all. Which one is the central angle? This is the central angle. What are its points? Here and here. Does this intercept there? Yes, this intercept at each point of that. Therefore, this is portion of inscribed angle. If you find the central angle, you can find that. So what is our central angle? This is a reflex angle. Therefore, this is 82. This is 28. When you add them, you get what? 110. You see? 180 minus that, this will give you what? What do you think? 70. 70 degrees as the central angle. Half of it will give you here. Therefore, this is 35 degrees. That's all. For the two positive numbers x, y, 8 times the square root of x is equal to 16 times the cube root of y, giving that this x is equal to 2 over 4. What is the value of this? It looks complex, but like I said, write the words down, follow certain principle of mathematics, replace bigger information with the simple one that you can handle, and you will do that. Look at the way I'm going to approach it. I have x, right? Is equal to what? Certain number, x is equal to 16. 8 multiplied by that number is equal to 16 times cube root of y. Okay, and they told me x over 4, x is equal to 2 over 4. Why did they give me 2 over 4? I'm just making it 1 over 2. It's not half. Why did they do that? And they said xn squared, x to the power n is equal to y. Okay. Well, okay. Now I have this. I say, well, this is 8. X is raised to half. Okay. 16. Y raised to what? 1/3. But I see 8 and 16. That's half. This come here, 16 here, and this one 16. This cancel out. and I have half of x half here is equal to y 1/3. That's all. But look at it. They told you x, this x here is half. Oh, I see half here. I'm putting x there. That means x times x half is equal to y 1/3. This should be x 3/2 is equal to y 1 exponent 1/3. They just want you to remain y. Oh, I can take care of this. Look at it. 3/2. You just work with the flow. Mathematics, when you keep on going, it will show up, right? This is equal to 1/3 to the power. Multiply everything by 3 cube, right? This will be 9. 3 times 3 will be 9/2. This is equal to what? This cancel it like that. Boom, boom. Therefore, they said xn, which is 9/2, is equal to y. That means n is equal to 9/2. That's your answer choice. How did you do? Did you get it? I hope so. Now you're getting complicated. No, this is the sum of the solution and the product of the solution again. I told you, if you see long information like that, always the same trick. It's the same principle. Mathematics has no principle, one principle. And so whenever they try to be fancy, they make the equation complex, simplify it, use the standard information that you know, and make it easy. What do you see here? They said this equation is that. Oh, if I simplify, it's already simplified. That means the factors of this is that. It has to be true. If it is, it's not. If it's not, then it's not the true solution. For all the value of x and that means it's true. This is the sum. You see, I see W here. I see V. My eye is telling me, hey, that's the sum of the solution. What are the two possible values of U? This U here. You know, B can be formed by the sum of the solution. This is the same as B. U is B. B is the sum of the solution. It has to be related to that. I'm showing you how I think when I'm doing this kind of question. It's the same thing, sum of the solution. That's what it is, right? Sum of the solution, right? Now, what are we going to have? If you open this, right? If you open this, you know that these can be rewritten like that. So I know for this to be that, I'm going to have W, V, S squared. The first letters, because they have the X. This time X will be that. The next one is the 3 is going to multiply the W. So 3W plus the 5, the V, will be the X. And then the product of the solution is the 15. You see? That's why this is equivalent to that. This is equivalent to that. And this is equivalent to that. This is going to help you answer question quickly. That means 3W, which is the sum of the solution, 5V, right, is U. But that is the same thing here. They've given you, they say what? W plus V is equal to 6. You see what they've done? The product of the solution, which is what? The product of the solution is 8. Here, this is VW, right? The VW is equivalent to 8. VW is equal to 8. You see, the sum of the solution is 6. The product of the solution is 8. What are the numbers that can give you that information? What do you think? 2 numbers. There's so many ways of solving it, but I'm showing you, you can try to solve this based on the numbers, calculate, add it, and based on what they've given you, you can simplify 8 is equal W equal to 8 over V, put it in. You don't need to. You can see two numbers that can add it to give you 6. They can multiply it to give each other 4 and 2. But this is the caveat coming. That means W can be 4 and 2. V can be 4 and 2 also. So you got to do the pairing. Which one is going to give you the answer? The answer choice is not 4 and 2. They ask you for what? The two possible values. For all of them to be equal to that. And this is U. They're asking you for U. Therefore, put value when W is 2 and when V is 4. And then flip it. So the first situation, I'll just do 1 and you see. If I pick W as 4 and V as 2, this is going to give me 10. This is going to be 12. This is 22. You see, 122. Let's flip it. W is now 3, is now 2, and V is now what? 4. This is 20 plus 6. This is 26. This is why these are the true value of U, not 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are your factors. Then you put them in to give it that. This is how you do it. 60 question. I put it at 60. If you get here, thank you. That means you master those hard. And this is basically going to give you more confidence that you can handle these kind of questions flawlessly. And before we finish, I throw this at you. You say, oh, why did you do that? Yes, I want you to master this. The sine of a certain angle is 3 over 5. And X is in the quadrant 2. You know what is quadrant 2, right? What is the value of cosine and tan? That is all. Let me show you the quadrant. Quadrant 1 is here. Quadrant, it go anti-clockwise. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the quadrant. And at quadrant 1, everybody is positive. Quadrant 2 is the sine that is positive. Quadrant 3 is the tan that is positive. Quadrant 4 is the cosine. Therefore, I know that if sine of a certain number is 3 over 5, what should be the cosine? That's the thing. The cosine, you're going to use this formula. Remember, they've not given you you don't know the opposite of that number yet. So this formula, know it. Sine square of x plus cos square of x is equal to always 1. Therefore, cos square x is equal to 1 minus sine square x. In the process, if you put these answers there, 1 minus 3 over 5 square, this is going to give you plus or minus what? 4 over 5. Or you can use the triangle. Use the triangle. You don't have to go this pathway. You can do the other pathway. If this is sine, right, opposite over hypotenuse, the adjacent has to be 4. And therefore, you can find the cosine. You can do the same thing. Or you can use this formula. That's how it came from. But in quadrant 2, cosine is negative. So make sure you pick minus 4 over 5. That's the only difference. The tan is opposite over the adjacent. So 3 over 4 for tan, but it's going to be what? Negative. That's the key. And therefore, you have to add minus 4 over 5 because they are negative, minus 3 over 4. And that should be your answer. You get 31 over 20. And this is your answer. But you can use this, or you can use this formula to calculate it. But you got to know that quadrant 2, only sign that is positive. The rest are all negative. And the last question, 62 questions. High yield SAT questions, making you comfortable for the SAT. If you learn something, just put a small comment, and so that our channel can grow. And if you need more, check our channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making this enjoyable. I hope you learned something. The table shows the number of books sold at 4 bookstores. The mean number of books sold is what fraction of the total number of books sold at a 4 bookstore. This is the complex question, but it's straightforward. If you think about it, it's just testing your vocabulary. That's all. How can you calculate the mean? Add all this. This will give you 420. Like as the total divided by the number of 4. This will give you 105. That's the mean. But the question says the mean of the number of books sold is a fraction of the total. So the mean is a fraction. That means the mean divided by the fraction of what? This will give you the same thing, 1/4 of the information. This will be what? 1/4, 25.25, 1/4. That's what is asking you. Look complex, but this is basically a mean translated in a different way. Thank you for watching, and thank you, and good luck on the SAT. Bye-bye.